Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Stout Field here at Fort Bliss, Texas, and the World Military Women's Football Championship. I'm Van Stokes. We're glad you could join us for today's bronze medal game between China and France. China finished second in Group A behind the Republic of Korea. They were joined in that group by the United States, the Netherlands, and Canada. France came in second in Group B behind Brazil. The other two teams in Group B were Germany and Bahrain. Korea and Brazil will be going for the gold medal in the Military World Cup tonight here in El Paso, Texas. That'll be at 7 o'clock Mountain Time. Once again, this competition is being conducted by the Conseil International du Sport Militaire. That's French for the International Military Sports Council and known around the world by its acronym CISM. Founded in 1948 with 5 original countries, this year marks the 70th anniversary of CISM. Today, CISM has grown into the second largest multi-sport organization in the world, second only to the Olympic Games. Comprised of 138 member countries, CISM conducts more than 20 military world championships for its members each year. Let's go to our public address announcements right now. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of CISM, the International Military Sports Council, welcome to Stout Field and today's competition in the 2018 World Military Women's Football Championship. As they come on to the pitch for our bronze medal match, would you please welcome our two teams? They are the women's military teams from China and France. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, will you please rise for the playing of the national anthem for China, and please remain standing for the anthem of France. Ladies and gentlemen, CISM's motto is friendship through sports, and it has reigned supreme here at Fort Bliss, Texas. With the spirit of CISM once again at play, we wish the best of each of the teams in today's bronze medal match. This competition is being conducted by the Conseil International du Sport Militaire, which is French for the International Military Sports Council and known around the world by its acronym CISM. Founded in 1948 with 5 original countries, this year marks the 70th anniversary of CISM. Today, CISM has grown into the second largest multi-sport organization in the world, second only to the Olympic Games. Comprised of 138 member countries, CISM conducts more than 20 military world championships for its member nations each year. And considering the popularity of this sport around the world, it's fair to say that winning the Military World Cup in soccer is among its more prestigious titles. Once again, best of luck today to our teams in this bronze medal match. Well, we have had our public address announcements. We've introduced the two teams out on the field with the national anthem. Let's take a look at our starting lineups. First of all, for China today, in the goal, it's going to be Cui Ji once again. She'll be joined by Wang Ri, Lin Yuping, Tan Shan, Zhu Zhan, Li Yan, Yao Wei, Lu Langren, Liu Yuting, Lin Yuyan, and Zhang Li. That is your starting 11 for China. Taking the pitch today for France, in the goal will be Celine Deville. She will be joined by Fanny Moreau, Liva Truisen, Aldi Moreau, Tatiana Solonay, Julie Rabena, Manon Guittard, Caroline Lavilla, Kimberly Cazot, Caroline Pizzala, Ocean Olivier. Our officials for this game, our referee on the field, that's going to be Park Se-jin from Korea. Assistant referee, Yang Sun-young, also from Korea. And our other assistant referee, Jennifer Garner from the USA, and our fourth official will be Lizzie Vanderhelm from the Netherlands. So, a true international crew. China comes onto the field. They are wearing the red jerseys, black trunks. They have the red socks on. While France has their alternate uniforms on. They've got the white jerseys, white trunks, and they have the dark blue socks. So this is for the bronze medal match. Looking at China, they opened this tournament with a win. That was on Sunday, the 24th of June, when they beat the United States 3-0 in the first game of Group A competition. They followed that up with a Tuesday win over the Netherlands, 1-0, and then beat Canada 6-0. That was on Thursday, the 28th of June. Their last game, they lost to Korea 0-2. That puts them in the bronze medal match. Referee checks with the goalkeepers, checks with officials. There's your kickoff, and this bronze medal game is underway. Told you about China. Let me tell you how France got here. They opened group play in Group B. That was on Saturday, the 23rd of June, when they beat Germany 6-0. That set the tone, or so they thought, until they ran into Brazil in their next game. 2 days later, on Monday, the 25th of June, Brazil downed France 3-0. And then their last game on the 1st of July, that was on Sunday, they beat Bahrain by the score of 8-0. So France, having lost their only match to Brazil, finds its way now into the bronze medal match, while China, having lost its only match to Korea, comes here by way of Group A. China, as I said, finished second in Group A. They had 9 total group points. Throughout the course of their 4 games, they have scored 10 goals, and they have only allowed 2. And that was the 2 that they gave up to Korea when they lost that match. Long pass downfield by France. Kicked away nicely by Lin Yuping on defense for China. Meanwhile, France in Group B, they came in second, as I indicated. They got 6 group points. In terms of goals for, well, they have scored 14 goals in this tournament and have given up only 3. And the 3 that they gave up, well, you guessed it, came against Brazil. So this will be an interesting matchup, if you will. Asia against Europe. France playing a very settled European style. Great control, but they are comprised of Division I and Division II players. It's a whole new team for France than what we saw a couple of years ago when they won the Military World Cup. They hosted it and they won it in France, came here thinking they would defend the title, and Brazil had other plans. Long pass, right side. Guitard will chase it down. She goes one-on-one, looks to pass to the center, but nice play by China. Quickly comes CISM. And China will recover it again nicely. China spreading out the field. You like to see that at this level of competition. Once again, it's international soccer, however, so you would expect to see that from the well-developed teams. So here comes China. And see if France will let them penetrate their defense at all. Tan Shan with the ball, scoots it over to Lin Yuping. And China will take its time to set things up on their own end of the field. Wang Ri passes out to the right side. And it's out of bounds on the far side of the field. Goes off of France. China will throw it in. Comes all the way over to Tan Shan on the near side of the field. Nice header that time by Lin Yuyan. And France will take it back. Rabana sends it downfield. And into the goal, Treji distributes it back out. And a nice job by Zhang Ri. Back and forth it goes. China will be very calculated, very precise, very methodical in the way it approaches France today. Tactical in every sense of the word, but you got to admire their personal skills as well. Technically, it's a very sound team. They train together in Beijing. Long pass, right side. China downfield. France collapses on them quickly. Gets the ball back, and they'll head back the other way. Good play in the center by Yao Wei. She will lead down the left side. France regathers on defense. They will pass it back. Yao Wei again towards the center. France will recover. Takes it back, and they will head back upfield. China, though, will pass it back to Wang Ri. Into the center to Zhang Ri. Here comes France. Long leading pass down the right side. The race is on. Possibility. Up and over the goal it goes. A great play that time by Treji, the goalkeeper for China. One-on-one it went with Julie Ribana. Coming down the field one-on-one, she set herself up for a pretty good shot. Had she gone right or left, Treji would have had a different challenge. Instead, she simply went up, boosted it over the crossbar, and got a great save opportunity that time. So it's going to be a corner kick for France. Out in the corner, Tatiana Solonay. Nice cross kick. Treji will bump it out with her hands. China takes control. They're going to try to run the left side now. Challenge there. Nice piece of footwork that time by Tan Shan. Throws it in to Lin Yuyan. And back it goes. Yao Wei very much of the distributor in the middle of the field. And she will help set up the attack if and when they cross midfield and head the other direction. But right now she plays center midfield for China. China very content to kind of pass it back and forth until they can get something going or until they make a mistake just like that. Booted out of bounds. Got a little break in the weather here. We started our first game 104 degrees today. That was over 10 days ago. But 104 degrees for game number 1 as we come into this game right here. Game number 17 in the Military World Cup. A mild 87 degrees. Again, nice play coming out by Delegation. That's 31 degrees Celsius. We got a little bit of a wind today, 13 miles per hour, 21 kilometers per hour. And here comes China. Go all the way down on the right side now. And it goes out against France. Taking a look at the top scores for China. Zhu Zhan's got 4 goals in this tournament. She scored 2 against Canada and 2 against the United States. And Wu Longwin has 3 goals. She's got 2 against Canada and 1 against the United States. And then 3 other team members from China have scored as well. That's Liu Yuyan, Wu Yufan, who came in as a substitute, and Zhang Tong. And coming out of the goal that time, Celine Deville. Offsides, however, so France will turn it back around, going the other direction. And they will maintain the ball, and they will throw it in from the near side of the field. China's got 3 players throughout their 4 games that have tallied yellow cards. But as we move into the medal play, the bronze medal game here, and then the gold medal game tonight, the yellow cards, which are cumulative in nature, they're all erased, taken away. So they start with a clean slate. Fresh slate, clean piece of paper. And the yellow cards of the past do not carry forward to the medal game here this morning, and then the medal game here this evening at 7 o'clock, the gold medal match between Brazil and Korea. France, meanwhile, has a couple of yellow cards. That went to Kimberly Cazot and Caroline Lavilla. Cazot picked up her yellow card against Germany. That was in the 35th minute. While Lavilla picked up her yellow card against Brazil. That was in the 67th minute. And we talked about the scores for China. France, you talk about balance. 9 players for France have tallied goals so far in this tournament. France will throw it in from the far side. France has 5 players with 2 goals each. Long pass down, and Delegation will get it back under control. Ludivine Boutel has a couple of goals, scored them against Bahrain. Solina Barbons scored a couple of goals against Germany before she got a red card and had to sit out the next 2 games, which includes this game right here. We did have the opportunity to catch up to Barbons a couple of days ago here on this live stream broadcast, and what a pleasure to talk to that young lady. Here it comes over to the right side now. Guittard moves it back to the middle. France looking for a break down the right side. Rabana, the pass was intended for her, and it will go back against China. We talked about Boutel scoring a couple and Barbon scoring a couple. Well, Marina Marcanza also scored 2 goals in this tournament, one against Germany and one against Bahrain. Claire Guillard has a couple of goals, one against Germany and one against Bahrain as well. And then Gutia Kachuna has 2 goals against Bahrain. So those are your scores. Add Tatiana Solonay, Kimberly Cazot, Sarah Pellicin, and Manon Guittard. And you've got 9 players on this team that have scored goals from France. You can call that balance. You can call that a number of things, but the bottom line is you can't key on anyone because they've all got the ability to score. We are in the 12th minute in a 0-0 score. A lot of defense out there so far today. Only a couple of shots on goal, one by each team, and one saved by each goalkeeper so far today. We are early on, though. A lot of soccer to be played, and arguably in the first 12 to 15 minutes of any match, you're going to see one team kind of explore the skills, strengths, and maybe vulnerabilities of their opponents. And I think a little bit that's what we're seeing here today so far. This is China's first participation in CISM's World Military Women's Football Championship, and it's a good thing. It's great to see them here, number one, as a strong and viable member of CISM, but number two, they will be hosting the Military World Games in China in 2019, next year. So in terms of getting a feel for the level of competition and the organization, the technical side that they will be responsible for hosting, here comes China, down the center. Shot towards the goal, and what a nice job that time by Celine Deville. Dives on it quickly to extinguish that opportunity. But China will be hosting the Military World Games next year, 2019, in October. And it will be like the Olympic Games themselves, except just insert the word military in front. Military World Games. Olympic in scope. Certainly in the number of athletes that will be there, roughly 7,000 military athletes. And as I said earlier, 138 member nations to CISM. And the number of sports that will be offered, I want to say 24 different sports offered. Competitions in China. Now, they have just done a wonderful job, an outstanding job here at Fort Bliss, Texas, in hosting this 11th edition of the Military World Cup. But if you multiply this, the number of sports times 24, and then the number of athletes, you realize what a host country takes on. Crossfield pass taken away nicely by Guittard that time. 3 defenders back for France. Hold on the side. Foul against Germany, so it will come back the other way. I said, excuse me, foul against China. And ball goes back to Celine Deville. When this competition began, it began with the United States, South Korea, the Netherlands, Canada, and China, all in Group A. That was back on Friday, the 22nd of June. And then France, Germany, Bahrain, and Brazil, the 4 teams in Group B. Today we're down to 4. It's the final day. The bronze medal opponents on the field in front of us, China. In the red jerseys, black trunks, red socks. In France, white jerseys, white trunks, dark socks. 15th minute of play and no score right now. China starting to press upfield a little bit more. Comes all the way down to the right side. Treji gathers it in and gets it back out to her left. Long leading pass down the near side, but absolutely no one there for China to take it. So Celine Deville will take it instead. China. Leading pass, Deville way out of the box right now. Boots it back upfield. China will reset. Here they come to the near side. Slight area ball. And not messing around with it goes Olivia Truisen. Getting it back to Deville. This game so far is my partner in crime, my broadcast colleague, Steve Denote, likes to say is being played between the 20s. And the 20s we're referring to are the 20s of the flag football field, which is an overlay of marking on this brand new synthetic turf here in Fort Bliss, Texas. So it will be used for track and field, a nice 6-lane track with international markings. Walked around it earlier, saw the start at 200 meters, 400 meters. And then it will also be used for soccer as well as flag football here at Fort Bliss, Texas. So a nice addition to the Morale, Welfare, Recreation program here at Fort Bliss. Already one of the premier programs in the Department of the Army. It's gone up a notch here with the hosting of this competition. As I welcome back to the broadcast, the Chief of Delegation for the United States and the Secretariat of the U.S. Armed Forces, Steve Denote. And Steve, so far in this game, as we have watched it, I would say it's still a game where each team is starting to learn the strengths, vulnerabilities of their opponent.
Absolutely. They haven't had a chance to see each other in action earlier in the competition, being in two different groups. I mean, while they are scouting each other, obviously the style of play is going to be a lot different. You got a player down, but she's getting right back up.
She pops up as the ball goes down the far side of the field, trying to take it away right now.
But yeah, right now you're definitely seeing two teams feeling each other out, looking for opportunities. That's why the action hasn't been real heavy in front of the goal keeps.
They've just kind of traded possessions, as I've already indicated, between the 20s, pretty much in the midfield.
Yeah, and I have a feeling you're going to see the action in the midfield quite a lot today. Both teams are very solid defensively. France has a tendency to be able to open up and get in that offensive zone for quick strikes. They are stretching the field a little bit better, but you are seeing China actually adapt to some of this previous style of play we've seen, because they have a tendency to bunch up in the middle.
Tanshan, left side. She's going to try to work it to the right side of the goal, but will overshoot it to the right side. D-line goes, DeVille goes to get it. So I agree with you. A lot of defense out there on the field right now. Not a lot of fireworks, so to speak. Speaking of fireworks, that's upcoming tomorrow, the 4th of July. Culture Day here. And these countries that are present here for the 11th CISM World Military Women's Football Championship, well, they're going to be treated to a real mainstay of American culture, and that's the 4th of July celebration. Down towards the goal, and Celine DeVille will distribute back out to her right side. We've got the El Paso Symphony Orchestra coming on post. A 50-gun salute in recognition of each of the 50 states in the United States of America, and then fireworks to end the evening. So a festival-like activity that all of these countries are going to get to experience, and as they pull away from here, moving down towards the goal, but it's coming
Beautiful
in quickly. Tackle. Really nice tackle and a nice save by France.
Able to keep the ball in.
But to close my point, they're going to get a real taste of American culture with the 4th of July celebration here at Fort Bliss, Texas. That's tomorrow night.
Yeah, looking for some excitement tomorrow. I'm sure everybody here is. Competition will be over. Time to let your hair down. Go have fun.
They have squared off in the corner, and it finally goes out of bounds. It looked like they were locked there for a second. Again, 3 shots on goal by China thus far, with only 1 shot on goal by France, a couple of saves by DeVille, and 1 save by Tlégy. And it's been that kind of a game as we get set for the 21st minute of competition. France is coached by Cédric Voltier. He's in his first year, maybe as a coach of the women's military team from France, but he was an assistant coach in the Olympic Games in Rio for the national team from France. So France has secured a coach with some pretty high credentials and some pretty lofty experience. Attempted steal that time. Nice effort by Zhang Ri, number 20 in the red. I talked about Celine DeVille, and I talked about Cédric Voltier, the coach, who was an assistant coach in the Rio Games. Well, DeVille played for France in London. She's done a great job in the goal for France, and she has a lot of experience as a Division I player in her country. In fact, most of the players on France are Division I and Division II players.
They got a wealth of experience. You can see in this competition just their experience alone. And the fact that you have multiple players with multiple goals for the French team shows you that they're able to spread it around. They're not relying on one player.
But you talk about history, France certainly has it. They have participated in this competition 8 different times. They've won 1 gold medal. That's when they hosted it, and the last time it was played, that was in France in 2016. And oh, by the way, the team that they beat, Brazil.
And they were looking for redemption this year. They were looking to defend their title. They faced Brazil the last 2 finals, and they were hoping for that what we call the rubberneck match, but Brazil was able to come away and make the finals. This is Brazil's looking for their 5th title.
Give you France's laurels in just a second and tell you about Brazil's as well. So here's China on the direct kick. Players jostling for play. Long kick up and over the crossbar, but they disguised it nicely. 1 player passed in front, the 2nd player passed in front, and then that kick was taken by Lin Yuyan. But talk about France's laurels. I'll tell you, they won that gold medal, Steve, back in 2016. They won a silver medal in 2015 when they lost to Brazil. They lost to Germany in 2008 and came away with the silver medal, and they got a bronze in 2007 and 2010. Meanwhile,
they're always in it. They always have a top team. They always have the potential of winning gold. This was a very tough group where you have France and Brazil in the same group, and that's just the way the draw goes. The draw was done at the CISM General Assembly back in April in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. And everybody was very anxious to see how the groups were going to fall. We already knew France was going to be in Group B, having been the defending champions, and the United States was going to be in Group A. Outside of that, no one knew where anybody was going to go until that magic draw came up. And then we were able to form the schedule, and you're able to see who was going to play who.
Here goes France, far side down towards the corner. Back towards the goal, but kicked out nicely that time by the defender. That is number 5, Lin Yuping for China. But, you know, we talked about France. What about Brazil? Brazil has been in this tournament 6 times, and they have walked away with 6 medals. 4 gold medals. They won gold in 2009, 2010, 11, and 15. They beat Korea twice in the championship game, Germany once. There's your corner kick. Far side, headed out nicely by China. And as you've already indicated, they beat France back in 2015 and then lost to France in 2016. They won bronze also in 2012. So every time Brazil comes into this competition, they come away with a medal. Shot towards the goal, sits in front of the goal and booted out. Man, that was close. Booted out nicely by China. You got to credit China for dropping back and then realizing that they were in a perilous situation and getting it out.
And we saw China in a similar situation against Korea. There's a melee in front of the net, and they actually had one of their own players knock it in. Remember, we were scrambling, trying to figure out who on the South Korea scored. It was actually one of China's own players, as they were all scrambling, trying to clear the ball.
Well, that time they dodged one. Long leading pass towards the left side. The race is on.
Yeah, we're starting to see France open up the competition a little bit right now. They're spreading the field out real nicely. They're getting those quick, fast breaks. They're forcing China to get on their heels and backpedal.
That was a long pass to Conseil that time. And it looked like she gathered it in nicely, but then during the run, could not maintain it. So France is going to have a corner kick from the far corner. It's up. 2 headers by China make that 3, and they're going to get it out. Or they're going to try. And it goes out of bounds on China, and player goes down on the field for France. That was Yao Wei and Lin Yuyan for China involved in that little tussle. And don't have a number of the player from France who happens to be down. She's standing up, though, and that is number 18, Kimberly Cazot. So Cazot, playing both sides of the field, comes up to her feet and going to bounce around, a little ginger perhaps, but nonetheless stays tough. Good cross pass. China's there. Shot towards the goal. Well done, but also well played by Treji. A little harder to the left or right. You might have had a goal on that one, France, but shot was plain and simply not hard enough.
Yeah, France is definitely kicking up a notch, literally.
They're taking it offensively a little more aggressive.
And this is the style of play we've seen them engage in, even with Brazil.
And you talked about this draw, Steve, and you've got, of course, France and Brazil. They were both drawn for Group B. And the interesting question is, had France been in Group A, would they have beaten Korea, and would they have surfaced to the championship game tonight, just like they have for the past couple of years against Brazil?
It's hard to tell.
Hard to tell.
Hard to tell. We'll see how what the final score of this match is. I mean, Korea beat China 2-0. So it depends on what that final score will be with this match. We'll give you a little bit of an indication how that final potential competition between France and Korea could have been.
Now, the other thing, too, this game will not end in a draw. It is a medal match, and like our championship game tonight, if it is tied at the end of regulation plus stoppage time, we will go to 2 15-minute overtime periods. Not sudden victory or sudden death. But if it remains tied at the end of the 2 15-minute overtime periods, then we will go to penalty kicks, a shootout to determine the winner for the bronze medal.
Yeah. And that's why we're seeing a very long gap between the bronze medal match and the gold medal match, to ensure that we have enough time to cover the overtime quarters or halves and the penalty kicks.
Here comes China. They've got the numbers. The run down the right side. Setting it up, looking to the goal. Shot towards goal, and it is a goal! Goal, China. That was number 10, Zhu Shan. Make that
15, number 15.
Number 15, Lu Languin. She's already got 3 goals in this tournament. That is her 4th goal in the tournament, and she got some assists. They had the numbers going down. They had 3 of the players from China out in front. France had to play catch-up. They were behind, but the pass to the right, the pass to the left, and number 15, Lu Languin, puts it in, out of the reach of the goalie, Celine Deville. So China has taken a 1-0 lead over France. We come to the point in the first half where both teams will retire to the sides, and in accordance with FIFA rules, we'll have a water break. Temperature will continue to rise here throughout the course of the day in Fort Bliss, Texas. In fact, according to the weather lady this morning, as I was working out, on TV, I should say, I was working out. She was on TV. But the bottom line is temperature is going to go up to about 97 degrees here today. So France, unable to stop the run that time by China, falls behind 0-1 to China. China with 5 shots on goal so far. France with 3. 3 saves in the goal for Treji and a couple of saves so far for Celine Deville, but she could not get to that last shot by China. They played that one so technically well. They snuck behind the defense, had 3 players down the field, liked the way it was on the right side, then came back to the center, and then eventually over to the foot of Lu Languin.
Yeah, let's see how the French team battled back. They were getting a little aggressive. They got a little soft on the defense. It had allowed 3 Chinese players to advance for that breakaway shot. Very hard to defeat those numbers when you got 3 attackers right in front of the goalie.
And the nearest French player was probably 5 to 7 meters behind the 3 Chinese attackers.
China's got a very quick team.
France bringing it down. They're on the attack right now. 1-on-1 far side. And it's a trickle out of bounds. So who do you think has the longest plane ride home back on the 5th of July, Steve? Bahrain is no short trip. But you know what? Neither's the flight from El Paso, Texas to Beijing.
Yeah, that's a good question. Looking at direct flights, I would say Bahrain probably has a good challenge ahead of them, just simply on where they got to fly out of.
Corner kick, nice job that time. By China, they're going to try to bring it up the left side. France, who got caught behind one time, is not going to get caught behind again. Not if they can help it. Well, I can tell you this, though. It's about a 14-hour flight, and that is coming out from the West Coast if you fly directly into Beijing without making stopovers in either Narita in Tokyo or Incheon in Seoul or any number of other ports. Gateways, I should say. Nice pass over the right side. France looked like they might come away with it, but this was not the case. Now you're seeing a lot of lateral passes, but this one just a little bit too wide. That came off the foot of Yao Wei and went out of bounds. Again, out of bounds off of China. Tan Shan knocks it out. France setting things up on their own half of the field to bring it across. Far side. France has it in the middle. China's going to drop back on defense. They'll kick it to the right side. Guitard. Still center. Back to the right side. La Villa.
This is where France is dangerous. Stretching the field. Now they're going to reset.
China plays it well, though. China plays it well, and as you said, France will reset. Back over once again. Riban, right side. Ribana goes left. Dribbles through two. She goes down. No call. Play on. She's looking for a foul. Didn't get it. China gets it out all the way up their side. Nobody there to receive it. Lin Yan was trying to come down for it. And a little bit of pushing and shoving in the center of the field. Audie Moreau makes the kick to keep it alive. And Trisian sends it back up the center. Nice piece of footwork that time. That's by Tatiana Solonay. And it'll come out of bounds on the near side. China on the throw-in. We're in the 35th minute, and it's 1-0 China. Good control by France that time. Nice piece of work by Guitard in the center. And down it goes into the hands of Trégy. Long pass out to the near side. Unable to do much with that was Lu Languen. DeVille brings it out to this side. Down on the field, no call, but down on the field goes Tan Shan. Play on, says the official. And that's exactly what they're doing. Lin Yuping passes and gets it back.
It's one thing I have noticed about the Chinese team. They do not complain when they don't get the call. They just get up, move on.
Sportsmanship has been high, but the ability to adjust to the play-on signal given by the official, in other words, you don't get the foul and the official just tells you play on, play on. You're correct. They have done a very, very nice job of abiding by the commands of the referee on the field, even when it doesn't go their way. You watch the World Cup from Russia, and it's complete different. I mean, if you don't get the call that you think you should be getting in Russia in the World Cup, you would think that long shot all the way from the right side, but there to take the ball out of the air is Trezeguet. You would think back in Russia that if you don't get the call that, well, you've just had your house robbed.
They're looking for the police. They're looking
for any help they can get. What do you mean?
Divine intervention.
Didn't you see what happened to me? Dramatics, I'm telling you. But then again, that is the world of sport.
It is.
One of the neat things I realized many, many years ago is that with youth, sports develops character, but with adults, it reveals it.
Yep.
And what we've seen is a lot of character out here on the field in front of us.
Yeah. I just recently coached youth soccer, 6-year-old boys, and one of my players loves watching Barcelona. And one of his favorite players has a tendency to fall down, hands outstretched. When he misses the goal. He would miss the goal, and he's going down. I'm like, Diego, get up. It's just get up. You could have got the rebound. Don't fall.
But here's what it's become. You got an offside call on the far side. Yep. Sports has become the new theater of the modern era. Because that character that I'm talking about, all of which is revealed, it's real, it's live, and it takes place right in front of you.
That's right.
So it truly is the theater of this generation. But having said that, Steve had a great conversation with our CISM Chief of Mission, Brigadier General Mark Ongoy from Kenya. And the bottom line is sports has such a great power, internationally speaking, to bring people together and foster friendship through sports, unlike perhaps any other medium can do.
And it's been done since ancient times. When the Greeks introduced the Olympic Games, the very first Olympiad, I mean, everything stopped.
You know what year that was?
Stopped. I think 776 BC.
Congratulations,
yep.
You have just won $50, my friend.
Hey, there you go.
776.
And I am still paying for those student loans and that education.
Well, I don't know. You went to that place in Happy Valley is what I can't remember the name of that school though.
Penn State.
Penn State. We are.
No. You know what? I actually had a tremendous professor. We actually, one of my coursework was the study of ancient sport with ancient Greek and Roman sport. And he was from Greek heritage himself and just, we got to break away.
Here's a run on the center, but China comes back defensively. Does a nice job in taking that ball away from Ribana.
No, so it was an artistic view of how sport was conducted back in the day. Even Sparta, one of the warrior-like states, had within their constitution sport and how to conduct sport within the military. And they carried that over to the Hellenic Games, the Olympic Games, and it was a very strict code when these games were being held. No wars were going to happen. And that was the intent on the modern Olympic Games.
Modern Olympic Games started in 1896 by a Frenchman called Pierre de Coubertin. And one of my great memories, and this took place many decades ago, but I did visit Sparta, and I did walk up and down the field in Olympia, Greece, whereby these games took place.
I was just in Athens last year. I do wish I had a little bit more time to have gone over to Olympia.
Next time you get there to the Parthenon, forego the Parthenon perhaps, and head down towards Peloponnesia.
Yep.
And take a look at these sites. 5 shots on goal so far by China. And they've made good on 1. They lead 1-0. We're in the 41st minute. 4 shots by France and 4 saves by Trezeguet.
And we're seeing a relatively quick game. I mean, hard to believe this first half is almost over. That's because we're seeing a lot of long passes, a lot of quick transition, even though the game is being held primarily in the 20s for the first part of the half, you saw, now we're seeing a lot more breakaways. You're seeing the field getting stretched, and we're seeing a lot more offensive attacks from both sides.
That said, though, Steve, I don't think this is going to be one of those games where, well, we saw a 6-0 game by China beating Canada. And when France lined up against Bahrain, they won 8-0. They beat Germany 6-0. We're not going to see that kind of game here.
I think this is going to be a close game.
Max, you're liable to see a 3-1 or 2-0 game or 2-1 game, something along those lines. Down the center comes France, but I like the way that China very quickly gets their defense together and gets a 2-on-1 kind of situation to steal the ball back. Have you enjoyed your time here at Fort Bliss, Texas?
Oh, absolutely. We got international football. We have a great staff here. We have great teams participating.
Got a free kick, by the way, here.
Yeah. And this could be the opening of France getting back on the board. We'll see. China's got a great defense.
I want to come back to your thoughts in just a second about the enjoyment here in Fort Bliss and things that have stood out to you. They're ready. Short kick right side, and it's going to be knocked out quickly.
Good idea, just a little too far. And a lot of that is probably due to the wind. You have that wind blowing from west to east right now.
It's going to be a corner kick from France this time on the near corner. And talk about bending it. The opportunity to bend it is there with the wind, as you just said, west to east. China collapsing everybody back near the center of that goal.
If they had someone that was able to kick with the left foot on that side, I think you would have had a really good bend using that wind.
Here comes France again. It's going to be far left side, but you're going to get an offside call. So back to the memories that stand out, or the thoughts that stand out, and the enjoyment of your time here in Fort Bliss.
Just seeing the teamwork out there, the sportsmanship. We've seen the players get together afterwards, greet the crowd. I think one of the more memorable was when the Brazilians won one of their matches. They came up and embraced the locals. You had children coming down on the field with them, taking photos. And they were just excited to be there. So those are the things that stand out to me. It's just the players that come in. We've got some aircraft overhead.
A couple of touching moments also from the United States team.
We'll put the speaker on there. That loud noise right there is a jet flying overhead.
Military jet, cannot tell you what it is or where it's headed, but civilian aircraft generally prohibited from flying over installations such as this, and this being really stoppage time, 2 minutes of stoppage time. Okay. This being one of the largest installations in the Department of the Army, Fort Bliss, Texas. So 2 minutes of stoppage time now at play here in the first half. And you talked about the Brazilian team coming over and taking pictures with a lot of youth and just really a lot of smiles and really enjoying themselves. Well, a couple of touching moments for me. One, when the United States team came over after their last game and stood in front of an appreciative crowd here in the stands and just the team showed how much they appreciated the crowd. And then the German team also doing the same thing. They have a German community here, strong German community, a German military unit stationed here at Fort Bliss, Texas, and the German team came over and did a similar thing. So this mutual appreciation between players and crowd, and we've seen it with China, we've seen it with Korea. I mean, it's really touching, Steve.
Absolutely. When the U.S. team came over with all the kids in the stands with the outstretched hands, a lot of the players said that was very surreal, emotional moment because they realized what they had accomplished over these last several weeks, not at the training camp as well as this competition, and it was exciting for them to be greeted in the fashion they were greeted.
And the United States, who dropped their first two games, came back and won their last two games. They did it with heart, they did it with class, they did it with skill and endurance, perseverance, and all the above, and the crowd just took note of that. And it was a great accomplishment by the United States, just a great accomplishment. Crowd noted that, and the United States was grateful that they had a home crowd behind them.
Yeah, very proud of our team. But like you said, we had a lot of crowd. I mean, the other night between China and Korea, we had quite the fan base on both sides. During halftime, you had children waving both the Korean and Chinese flags, running up and down the track you see right there in front of us.
France has an opportunity here in stoppage time. Shot comes in high. Nice play that time by Treji. She had to go up. We're looking at less than 10 seconds perhaps left in this the half. And it's even less than that. As the whistle blows to end the first half of time, a shot in the final seconds from the left side. Treji gets the save. Otherwise, we'd be tied. But instead, we go into the half. And it's China 1, France 0. And Steve, to note, not a lot of surprises out there in the first half. Tremendous defensive struggle. Not the high amount of shots on goal. But nonetheless, we saw a pretty good half of soccer. Technical skills and even tactically speaking.
Absolutely. We saw the first part of the half very cautious, feeling each other out. And then all of a sudden they opened it up. And the French team was pounding and pounding and pounding, looking for that goal. And then China took advantage at one point and had 3 attackers up front with a 3-on-1 with the goalie, and they weren't able to maintain that, and that's why you see China on the board right now. However, France is still trying to get that ball, and they're primarily owning the possession from there on out, trying to get that final goal in there to make sure that this game doesn't go out of hand. They get either tied through regulation or get the win.
Tied through regulation, perhaps, but that's not going to be where it ends if it is in regulation, because this is a medal match. It will go to 2 15-minute overtime periods. If it's still tied at the end of that, then we're going to go to a shootout, penalty kick type shootout. But you got to love it
that's where the excitement begins.
When the excitement begins at a level like this. Well, we're at the half. China has a 1-0 lead over France. The teams have retired to the sidelines. They are going to take a break, and they're going to get a little bit of water and some rest. We're going to do the same here. We're going to step aside, but in roughly 12 minutes from now, we'll be back to begin the second half of play between China and France. We'll be back after this break. So welcome back to Stout Field here at Fort Bliss, Texas, as we get started for the second half of the bronze medal match between China and France. And China has a 1-0 lead over the defending champions from France. France bumped into the bronze medal match as a result of their loss to Brazil, a 0-3 loss. That was back in their second game of the tournament. And China bumped into the bronze medal match as a result of their loss to Korea, 0-2. And so here this morning at Fort Bliss, the bronze medal match is on the line. And tonight at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, it'll be the gold medal match between Brazil and the Republic of Korea. So there's your kickoff for the second half. And with a 1-0 lead, France will be seeking to tie it up. China had the breakaway goal opportunity in the first half, and it was Lu Languin who made good on that goal. With 3 Chinese attackers beyond the line of defense for France, they came away with the shot on goal, which was good, and a 1-0 lead. Now here they are on the attack again. France back on defense. And they're going to try to get it out left side. Into the game for France now is Gutia Kachuni. France pretty much in a defensive effort right now. And China will take its time. Up it goes, Tatiana Solonay. Into the challenge is Solonay. It goes out of bounds on the far side. And if China could pick up their second goal of this contest, that would change this game significantly. Just like it would if France could pick up a goal to tie it up at 1 apiece. Throw in on the far side, and China maintains control. They're very methodical, very technical. Good passes. And good play away from the ball, too. They got the spacing. They know their areas of responsibility. They know the skills of each other. And they've got great teamwork out there. The French players, as I indicated earlier, all play in Division 1 or Division 2 back in France. This is an entirely different team, a brand new team from the one we saw in France when they hosted this competition 2 years ago. But I don't have to tell you about the culture in France and the soccer culture that they have in France. And China back on defense once again. France won the gold medal, as I indicated, in the last time this competition took place. That was when they hosted it. They beat Brazil 2016. They lost to Brazil in 2015, and then lost to Brazil here in 2018 in Group B play. France lost to Germany in 2008 and came away with the silver medal there, but they won bronze in 2007 and 2010. France has participated in the Women's Military World Cup now 8 times. China, this is their first experience. But as I indicated as well earlier, they will be hosting the 2019 Military World Games. 7,000 plus athletes, 24 different sports. That'll be next year in China. So they came for a number of different reasons, but as one of 138 members of the International Military Sports Council, it's great to see them involved here with women's soccer and the opportunity that they have right now to return back to Beijing, possibly with a medal. Bronze it may be, but nonetheless, it's a medal, which you look at gold, silver, and bronze, 3 medals. going to 3 teams. 6 of the teams return home with no medals. So what a significant accomplishment it could be for China should their 1-0 score stand. So out of bounds on the far side. France will throw it in. They try to get it to the center, but defense from China pretty strong. Now here comes France. They're going to go to the left side. Nice slide and kick away that time. Looked like Li Yan. Far side it goes to Gutia Kuchin. And a nice header by Li Yuping. In the middle, France is going to try to set it up again. Solonay will back it out. Comes over to the left side. And a good challenge that time. For France, that is Guinella Boutel. France left side, Boutel. And China will step up, as always. They have done well on defense. They played very, very cautiously, very much of a group on defense, and you will see all 10 players gather back and support their goalie, Tele Ji. Right side now. Left side, Li Yan. Comes ahead to Zhang Ri. France fights for it, but China gets it back. In the center, Yao Wei. And they're going to go back to Treji. Long ball down the right side off the foot of Treji. Goes out of bounds. On the near side here, right in front of us. And China will bring it in. That'll be Liu Yuting. Throws it into Zhang Ri. And Pizzala in the center. On defense. We'll try to get things set up. Passes back over to the left side. That goes to Tatiana Solonay. Then it goes far right over to Therese Young. France starting to converge now, somewhat, on China's half of the field. There's a good lead pass. No offside call. A shot. In the goal it goes. No offsides. And it's a goal. Goal for France. And the complexion of this game has changed significantly. Kimberly Cazot with the goal for France. And it is 1-1. You saw China looking for an offside call. They did not get it. So Cazot gets the goal in the 53-minute mark. And it's 1-1. So just like that, we've got a completely different game in hand right now. 54-minute mark. And you could see France kind of smelling it. They got behind China just a little bit, as China did on their first goal. That was scored in the 30th minute by Liu Langin. And in a similar manner, France retaliated at the same end of the field, in which China scored their early goal, and that is into the win. But they kept it on the ground all the way, slipped the attackers behind the Chinese defense, and made good on the opportunity. Long leading pass down the center again. China will control, and that was Julie Rabana thinking she might have a shot on goal. France with 6 shots on goal so far compared to China. 5 saves for China, while a couple of saves so far from Celine Deville. And China has come off their attack just a little bit. While they settled back and tried to play some defense, their defense became a little bit porous. They gave up the goal, so it's a 1-1 contest right now. And China might do well to get on the offense. Deville comes out with it. Challenge near the middle of the field, dropping down to her knees, goes Tatiana Solonay. She pops up quickly. Right side by China. Back to the center. Challenge for the ball, and France comes away with it. Zhu Zhan did a nice job on a cross pass, but just not enough there. And a lot of football left to be played. 56-minute mark in this match. But if it ends in a tie, then we're going to 2 15-minute overtime periods. And if it's tied after that, we'll go to the penalty kicks for shootout. And there's an offside called against France that time. So, Steve, to note, we saw France do a very similar thing that we saw China to do, get their first goal, and that is to get just a little bit of margin. There's a long shot from the outside. It's going to go up and over the crossbar.
And through the fence.
And through the fence on the far side.
No, absolutely right. You saw China starting to get aggressive, and the French were able to exploit that defense and get a breakaway. Kimberly Cassel with an excellent shot past the goal. And we're seeing France forcing China back on their heels again. They want to make sure that they were able to get on the board, keep this game manageable. China's still been very precise. We've seen another breakaway here.
Here comes China, right side. Look for the cross pass or possible shot. France will regather, and out of the goal on a great diving takeaway is Celine Deville for France.
Excellent dive by Deville. She was able to get that ball out there, because you had 2 attackers on China just right to the right of her. So without that dive, there was more points for China.
Potentially so. Zhang Ri was the player down the right side who came across with the right foot and set it out in front of the goal that Celine Deville came out and took away.
We got a very active Facebook following right now. Well over 100 viewers. Comments are pouring in left and right.
And we are absolutely thrilled and pleased that we're able to bring the 11th CISM World Military Women's Football Championship to you live stream on Facebook with a posting to YouTube once this contest is over. But the opportunity to bring it to you on the live stream, well, it's our pleasure.
We had a good morning so far. No technical glitches because we were able to start before the heat kicked in.
Here comes China, but France does a nice job of pushing it back. Heat has been a big factor in terms of our technical operations, especially on day number 1 and then another day during the course of the tournament. But today, you ready for this? A balmy 87 degrees.
Yeah.
We're doing fine.
Those people were wearing winter coats out there. It is amazing that when the temperature does dip into the 80s, people do start wearing jackets around here. Not like us Northeasterners.
Not like the people in Philly, right?
Nope. We're out in shorts and when it's 40 degrees.
Well, we've said this in the past too. The humidity here, very, very low. Here you go. Pass on the left side. Shot towards the goal. Stepping up and making a great save at that time. Trey.
That's borderline.
And they're going to.
Borderline.
Borderline call. They're not going to give a goal. She stepped up, knocked it up in the air, and then was there to take it when it came down, juggled it a little bit, had to balance right on the plane of the goal. And the question is, if she had stepped in or if the ball had gone across that plane, even though she might have had it, it would have been a goal France. But she didn't get the call.
Unfortunately, we don't have the instant replay right now.
Here comes France. Excuse me, here comes China. A little breakaway towards the goal. It's out there, and it is a
nice
goal.
One-on-one goal.
China on the breakaway, straight down the center. And France didn't get the call perhaps at the other side, but China comes back and in no time gets a straight shot right down the middle.
Number 19 scored.
That is a goal by Lin Yuyan. That is her first goal in the tournament, and it comes in the 60-minute mark to make this a 2-1 game. And that's how quick they can come sometimes, Steve Denote.
And we're seeing that right now in this half. You're seeing both France and China with the fast breaks. And that one was a result of China getting up there after a near goal from the French.
Lin Yuyan, I mean, you talk about breakaway. She was in front of the nearest French defender by probably 10 to 12 meters.
And that time it was a 1-on-1. The last couple times we've seen 2-on-1, 3-on-1, but that one very tough to get by.
Very tough. But credit Lin Yuyan. She did a nice job of keeping it until she had to get rid of it, and when she did so, she had a wide angle in which to attack Céline Deville. Here comes France, another shot. Nice job that time by Treji. Hard, low shot. Came off of the foot of Julie Rabana. But Treji did a good job of basically knocking it away. So it's going to be a corner kick from France. Out on the far corner, Gutia Cucini on the far corner. Good corner kick, cross kick, but out of the goal comes Treji. China will get it downfield. Headed out to the right side. Nice little heading pass. That comes out to Li Yan. Goes back to the center. That both teams will fight for the ball. 63 minutes into this game. 2-1 China. Long pass. Headed to the left side. Intended for Cazot. Comes back to Cazot. She'll put an area ball up, which will go over the goal on the right side. She went for a shot, but she just got her foot a little bit under it. Lifted it high, and it cleared the goal area. This is the final day here of the 11th CISM World Military Women's Football Championship. And after tonight's gold medal match, which here comes France, and another diving save by Treji.
Treji's getting tested right now.
That she is.
We saw that earlier when France bounced back with a goal.
We are going to recognize the goalkeeper of this tournament tonight in the awards presentation. part of the closing ceremonies tonight after the gold medal game. And right now I'm going to tell you that Treji is going to have to be considered for that position.
Yeah, there's quite a group of goalies out this year. We've seen a lot of great steals, saves, and some very powerful kicks from some of these goalkeepers.
Treji's only given up 2 goals in 4 games. Celine DeVille, she's given up 3 goals in 3 games. DeVille, who played in the 2012 Olympic Games.
That's the uniqueness about this organization and championship. You don't know if you're going to have an Olympian or former Olympian on the squad. They're in the military. It's a very unique situation. People don't realize that this is world-class football. This is not recreational football. This is not
It's not intramural
club.
Long shot.
This is not club sport. This is national teams playing for their respective militaries.
Well, we talked about the goalkeeping play of Treji, and she's got 9 saves in this game, so she's done a great job. Celine DeVille, she's only got 3. As China has a 2-1 lead right now in the 65th minute. Fight for the ball right in front of us. Play on. No whistle. China controls. Good skill that time by Li Yan. So the deal is this, I think, Steve, that when you have the high level of play on the field from a technical aspect, that you're going to have to also have a commensurate, an equal level of technical operations in the conduct of this tournament. And this tournament is conducted in every truest sense of the word with FIFA rules, FIFA certified officials, and all FIFA protocol ranging from, well, everything. From soup to nuts, from start to stop. FIFA protocol fully in effect.
Yep. Referees are FIFA certified. We've had some referees that have had the experience of being in a World Cup in the past. Actually, 2 of our American FIFA referees are at the World Cup, and they have previously participated in CISM championships. Unfortunately, couldn't be here for this one, but we were very fortunate and lucky to have both Jennifer Gardner and Alicia Messer on our roles as our referees from the United States. But a fine group overall. Every last referee out here has been very professional.
Long shot by China goes to the right side. That came off the foot of Leon. They've been professional. They've worked with the international officials in a superb manner. Language has not been a barrier. They all have some grasp of English, regardless of the country they come from. And every team that comes here to CISM is asked to bring 2 officials.
That's right. That way we don't have a one-sided roster of referees from any one nation. So 2 referees each nation. And then we have the head referee that's part of the CISM Technical Committee. So we had Mohammed Al-Hakim from Sweden. That was the head referee for this competition, was able to organize and schedule the rotations, make sure everybody was well versed, had them review the competitions each day before they were going back out on the field. But an excellent group.
And he reviewed them based on our live stream to the best of his ability sometimes. He would pull out clips and talk about the various things. And officials have done a good job. Very nice job throughout the course of this competition. The CISM Sport Committee football is headed by the president, Captain Rudi Fell of Germany. And also on that committee is Mr. Han Blickman from the Netherlands. Here comes China. Left side, race for the ball, shot towards the goal, and DeVille does a great job of going to her left to save what could have been another goal from China.
Lou was looking for another goal, but DeVille was able to save it.
Great job.
Excellent job.
But besides Captain Fell and Mr. Blickman, you've got Colonel Nevzat Varol from Azerbaijan and Christophe Horta from France And then you've already mentioned our FIFA head referee. That's Lieutenant Mohammed Al-Hakim from Sweden. As we come to the time for a water break.
Time for a water break.
Midway through the second half, they will head to the sidelines in accordance with FIFA rules, and they will take in some water and have time to get hydrated just a little bit, as China has taken a 2-1 lead right now over France. But we're talking about the protocol. We're talking about the organization, administration of this tournament, Steve. And we talked about, the CISM Sport Committee for Football. We've got a technical jury, and we've got a jury of appeal, which means that if you're dissatisfied with the results of the technical jury, once you submit your concern or protest in writing and you dislike the technical jury's opinion, then you can move that forward to the jury of appeal.
Yep. Of course, you have to have $100 US to launch your appeal. And if you win, you get your money back. If not, it goes into the CISM treasury.
So you talk about the technical aspects of this game. And from a protocol and organization point of view, they're all in conformance with FIFA guidelines. 10 shots on goal so far for France, 10 for China. And it has been Treji, really, who has helped save the day thus far for China with 9 saves in the goal, compared to 4 so far for Celine Deville. And right now, you have got to be considering Treji based on her performance in this tournament and particularly in this game.
Now, both goalkeepers have had an excellent game. Treji, she's the reason why France is not higher up on the board. But even Deville, she's had some fantastic saves in her own right. And right now, you're seeing the wind die down a little bit. However, the temperature's starting to rise. We're now at 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 degrees Celsius. The wind has dropped down to 8 miles per hour, or 15 kilometers.
Now, you're not a certified meteorologist, but you have stayed at a certain hotel, which means I'm going with what you're telling me.
You know what? I went to Penn State, and Penn State, I don't know if you know this, but...
No, but I'm sure I'm getting ready to find out.
1 out of 4 meteorologists are Penn Staters.
You know, these are the guys, these Penn State meteorologists, perhaps. I mean, I don't know. I'd have
Most
to backtrack.
accurate. Most accurate, by the way.
The bottom line is, when I listen to these guys, I don't know why I have to keep shoveling partly cloudy from my driveway all the time.
That's not. They're probably from another university.
Yeah, probably so. Not from Happy Valley. They are loyal. I will say that about the We Are Penn State folks.
That's right.
Here we go. Right side, offside call that time. France knew what they wanted to do, but got just a little bit ahead of themselves right now. 72 minutes into this game and a 2-1 lead by China.
And one thing they are accurate with the weather here in El Paso is it's always hot.
Hot but dry, or arid, as one of us likes to say.
And if you're not familiar with the weather here and you want to experience what hot, dry weather is, go in your bathroom, hook up your hair dryer, and blow it in your face for about 15 minutes. And then tell us how you feel. That's coming to El Paso and playing down on the field when you have the winds coming at you. So try it. Let us know how it goes, and respond back on Facebook. We look forward to bringing you the experience from El Paso to your home.
And if you
want
if you want the real feel, then take a picture of the Franklin Mountains due west of us. Put that in your postcard-like picture that sets up the majesty of this venue, and you will have the feel here for Fort Bliss, Texas, and El Paso, Texas as a whole. As we say that, though, it has been absolutely a delightful stay here, and this one of the largest military installations in the United States Army.
Yeah.
And we've got a player down on the far side of the field.
Try to get your number here.
But she's up. Player down for France. You're going to get a free kick.
If you're looking for some beautiful pictures, please visit armedforcesports.com. You have links to all the matches or you could also hit flickr.com/armedforcessports, and we have albums set up for every match. That way you're not sorting through the 1,000+ photos we have up there. Each one is organized very well in an album so you can see your favorite match and team.
Long shot, right side. Once again, Treji steps up. No, I've already been contacted about all the great posts that you have on armedforcesports.com. That includes a photo gallery and game reports, pictures, and opportunity to view the videos. And you can also go to the photo gallery on Facebook. Just pull up CISM Europe, and you'll see the work of photographers that are here.
Yep, multiple photographers, multiple professionals out there. For the U.S. side, we have fine sailors from the Defense Media Activity, part of the Navy Reserve, out here assisting us. And then we have CISM Europe representatives taking photographs, as well as the local Fort Bliss marketing department. And
one of whom we want to recognize a birthday of the daughter of Herr Dürling, the photographer for the team from Germany. I want to say a belated happy birthday to Caroline Dürling. She turned 21 yesterday. She lives in Osnabrück, Germany. So greetings from Sun City here in El Paso, Texas. And happy birthday.
Fröhlich Geburtstag.
That's German for happy birthday. And here comes China right side. Nice play that time by Zhu Zhan. She'll get it towards the center. France will step up and head it back the other direction. Wang Ri will launch it long. Player on the other side, Zhang Ri. Zhang Ri towards the goal. And it's deflected off the defender from France, and out will come again. Comes out right now to Guinella Boutel. Left side, all the way up to Kimberly Cazot. Cazot has scored the only goal for France in this game. Good pass right side, just a little bit too long though. And that went off of Pamela Babinga. We saw Babinga come into the game the other night, second half, fresh legs, and she just made this French offense really click, and so she comes right back in now. Here in the second half once again.
Got quite a couple of responses coming back on Facebook regarding the hairdryer. No brave souls want to attempt it. They're saying, no, I do not attempt this. And we're getting also some happy birthdays for Caroline. Thank you. I'm sure she appreciates it.
DeVille puts it back in play after the whistle, goes over to the right side. '77th minute. 2-1 China. Bronze medal at stake. Treji out on the right side. China controls.
I'm starting to see that sun come out overhead.
It'll be warm before it's all over today.
Not much shadow going on. I started feeling warm for myself. I was like, why is my back so warm? Then I looked up and we have the hatch open for the camera crow's nest, as we call it.
You know, you're starting to sound like naval personnel. The hatch and the crow's nest and, all the above.
You know, I worked for the Marine Corps for quite a while, so you tend to adopt the lingo.
You know what?
And you're a Marine also, Van.
I, too, worked for the Marine Corps for a while. I'm not going to go into the lingo that I taught.
I wouldn't say you worked for, you worked in.
Yes. I'm not going to go into the lingo I learned as a United States Marine for a couple of years. Shot towards the goal by China, and it is a goal! China by the defense of France. France showing a little wear and tear right now. One of the French players asking the referee, are you sure there was no offsides on that?
And that's number 15.
But that is Liu Yangyuan again with the goal, if I'm not mistaken, Steve.
Yep, and it looks like they're going to count that.
And now this game has really changed in terms of tempo. 79th minute, and it is 3-1 China. France, the defending champion. France, the silver medalist in 2015 and 2008. Bronze medalist in 2007 and 2010. Unless they find a way to tie it up and then win this game, they will head back to Fontainebleau with no medal. And China would come away with the bronze medal in this, their very first participation in CISM women's soccer. 11-11 in terms of shots on goal, but it's been China who's managed to score 3 times. 10 saves so far by Treji, and she has really been the difference right now, in my humble opinion.
Absolutely. You're getting those breaks. You had 2 players in front of DeVille. Very hard to counter that. And that's why you have Liu with her second goal of the match.
Free kick by France, long way away, and out of the goal comes Treji. She has been busy, has Treji. And with the wind slightly behind her, she puts it beyond midfield. As we're approaching the 81st minute, there will be some stoppage time added here. But we're going to have to wait until the regulation time expires before we're able to tell you how much that might be. Long pass, left side. Treji comes out, and over the top goes Wong Ri.
Took out her own player.
But that was commitment by Wong Ri. She did not know whether or not Treji would come out of the goal. She had to be there all the way. And when Treji went down for it, Wong Ri went over the top. China is coached by Zhao Zhengchun. Player down in the middle of the field for China. But up they pop, and that's going to be Zhang Ri. The assistant coach, Chao Jun from China. And time does become a factor now, especially for France as they trail by 2. China leading right now 3-1. Babinga, right side. China back on defense strong. Comes to the center. Backwards pass, collision. Play on, says the referee, and over the top went one Chinese player. But how about that? Kimberly Cazot reaches down and tries to pull the Chinese player up, but she still stays down. And it's going to require a little bit of attention. But Cazot, at the same time, the one with whom the collision took place, tried to reach back. I don't have a number on the player from China that's down, but you got to credit the sportsmanship. We've talked about it throughout the course of this tournament. You saw a glimpse of it there just now.
Yeah, she's holding her face right now.
Yeah, I think she took a knee to the head.
That's number 2.
She will sit up. That is Wong Ri.
And she's popping up.
Wong Ri pops up.
They're trying to get the referee's attention, stating that it was an elbow. But as you mentioned earlier, referee said play on. Cazot was able to reach down, try to get her to come up. So we know it wasn't malicious.
No, unintentional. So France pretty much retired over to the sideline while they were trying to take care of Wong Ri. And they've got some water. I mean, they're trying to stay hydrated, and in all honesty, I'm not for sure if the heat may not be catching up to France at this point in time. You see a couple of players with their hands on their knees. and just kind of trying to catch some breath. Boutel, one of them. So it'll be France's ball. That's where the ball was when the referee stopped play in order to go 10 to the fallen player from China. Push in the center. China controls. Content to put it back on their half of the field. Truician sets it up nicely. Run down the right side, but good defensive effort by Zushan. France coming back the other direction. It's going to go all the way to the other side.
There's Kezo with the throw in.
Push from behind that time, so it will be France's ball to throw in. Boutel has the throw in. Challenged immediately as it came back to Boutel, and it's back to the center. Babinga, far side.
Less than 5 minutes left of regulation time.
This is a bronze medal game. We're back tonight, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. 9 o'clock on the East Coast, 6 p.m. West Coast time tonight for the gold medal match. That's going to be between the Republic of Korea and Brazil. Korea will be attempting to win its first ever gold medal in the Women's Military World Cup. They are no strangers to play, however. They won silver in 2009, 2010, and 2012. They were bronze medalists in 2015 and 2016. They have yet to win a gold medal, but they're going to have that opportunity tonight, as they're going to have to overcome a very strong Brazilian team.
Brazil has a juggernaut of an offense. Multiple players with multiple goals. They can strike at any time.
France has 9 players coming into this game that had scored goals.
And that just shows you the type of team France brings.
And Brazil
they bring the ball around.
A similar team, Steve. They got 8 different players that have scored goals for Brazil. One of whom scored 4 in one game.
Oh yes, panel of Vasconcelos.
And that was against Bahrain. But make no mistake about this. The Republic of South Korea is not Bahrain. But here comes France, right side. Kick out and back to the center, and just getting a little ahead of it that time was Rabin in the center. '87th minute. Regulation time continues to tick away. Lin Yuping on the right side. Left side for China. Has done a good job defensively tonight. I say tonight, but I mean this morning, this afternoon, whatever the time might be.
Depends on where you're watching from.
Depends on where you're watching from. Exactly.
It's always 5 o'clock somewhere.
I like that attitude.
Unless you're in Newfoundland and it's 5:30.
Also, unless you're in Iran as well.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, when they go the half hour as
have
well.
A half-hour difference, yeah. Always wondered about that. I always wondered how that came about.
I did not ask. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
Play out in the center of the field now. A lot of midfield play. China might be headed for another goal, and that's going to be an offside call.
That's a good call.
Good call that time by the assistant referee on this side of the field. You know, they used to call them linesmen, and then as women's football picked up, We don't call them men anymore, or linesmen. We call them assistant referees.
That's right, and it's become so technical, the refereeing, that the reason why they are referees and assistant referees is because of the roles that they fill. Before, the referee could become a linesman, stay out in the center, and they would interchange with each other, and they would get certified as such. Now, because they're so specialized, that your assistant referees, they do not go in the center any longer, and neither do the referees. They don't come out to the line.
At this level.
At this level.
At this level.
Yep, so.
But at other levels, trust me on this.
Oh, yes.
You will be on the field one game, and you will be on the lines the next game.
Absolutely. But at FIFA, the international.
Stoppage time. 4 minutes of stoppage time now commences. 11 shots on goal for China. 12 shots so far today. Here comes China. The race towards the goal. It's going to be on one-on-one situation. DeVille is out. Crosses over to the center. A little bit behind. And France recovers. France recovers nicely. China had an opportunity to tally its 4th goal of the game. Li Yan had it down the right side, and she centered it. And unable to come away with anything. France recovered. Here comes Babinga, far side. Babinga on the run. She'll cross, and it's going to hit the side of the net on that shot. 1 minute in the stoppage time so far. China, who leads 3-1. They train at the Military Sports Center in Beijing. Most of these players for China have played together for 2 or 3 years. Only 4 or 5 of the team members have been to America before, so this is their first trip to, as France would say, they had les États-Unis.
Très bien.
But they have really honed their game. They may be young, but they have made a tremendous entry into the Women's Military World Cup.
So we're receiving some compliments on Facebook regarding your French and my French. So oui, je comprends français un petit.
Non, non, je ne comprends pas français.
Non,
Je ne comprends pas français.
Ah, pourquoi?
Because it took me 4 years. The reason why you ask, and pourquoi, is because it took me 4 years in school to get 3 years worth of credit. Trust me on that. I remember that one well. But that's why. They said I just didn't have the accent. I didn't completely understand that.
Sometimes I have the accent, and that's what gets me in trouble because it's been so long since I've studied French.
I can still hear my French teacher going, "No, Monsieur Stokes, you."
Yep.
And I would always try to repeat. She says, "No, you." Little lofting shot in the direction of the goal, and Tracy steps up. And we've talked about here throughout the course of this game, she has just done a fine job and truly had a big impact on the outcome of this game in the way that she has handled herself in the goal.
So I could understand when it's being spoke for the most part. You know, sometimes I do get the deer in the headlight look. But
you are what I refer to as multilingual.
No, try to be lingual.
Try to be lingual. I hear you. But you can't include Philadelphia speak as a language, okay?
It is. Well, it is.
It's not.
It's a very different dialect. It's a very different language. You have to understand the nuances of the Philly language. There are terms that you will never hear anywhere else in the world.
China is not done, in spite of the fact that we're just about out of time here in stoppage time, and they lead 3-1. And they have actually called off the pressure right now on the attack.
Yeah,
that's a class move by China.
Yeah, China knows they're in the lead. They're not continuing to strike in the 90th minute. They're trying to keep it in the mid.
They're just going to play defense, and they're just going to keep it amongst themselves as
we go.
time expires. And China, in its first participation in the World Military Women's Football Championship has defeated France by the score of 3-1 and has won the bronze medal. The French players down on the field, they have given it their all, but they will come away for the first time in a few years without a medal in this competition. And credit China. They played tenacious defense. They played as a team. They had 11 shots on goal, and Tlei Ji, 13 saves. She was one of the difference makers in this game. France, 14 shots on goal. And Tlei Ji coming up with 13 saves. I mean, it was a tenacious game defensively, Steve Denote, but China took advantage of the opportunities that it had and made good on them. I mean, that's probably as simple as you could say about this game.
Yeah, congratulations to both teams. The French team played their hearts out today and throughout the whole tournament. And China, the rookies, we didn't know no one knew what to expect from them. And then when it was revealed that they had been training for 2 to 3 years together prior to this championship, we knew they were going to bring at least some experience, just not at this level. So congratulations, hats off to both teams. Fantastic job. Greatly appreciate your participation as well as your hard work out there on the field and your sportsmanship. Couldn't ask for a better group of people.
We could not. Talking with Sean Ding prior to the start of this tournament, the translator for China, he told us that, well, they had some concerns about playing here in the United States, and particularly if the USA had a strong partisan crowd. They would have to contend a little bit with the audience, and but they wanted to take this opportunity to develop the CISM model, and that is friendship through sports. And Steve, they did just that. They made great friends of everybody here in Fort Bliss, Texas, and now they're going to get to go home with a bronze medal in this, their first participation in CISM women's soccer. You have got to consider this trip a very big success for China.
Absolutely, and originally China was not one of the teams part of this tournament originally. Each continent had a quota of 2 teams per continent, and with Asia, South Korea, and Bahrain had already been selected based off of their programs and their preliminary agreements. China came on board after Africa was only able to nominate 1 nation. So we had that 1 spot, and because they are hosting the 2019 Military World Games and hosting women's football, we were able to get China on board later in the game. And they brought a very well-crafted team. And this is great for the program, not just for China, but for CISM, now that we have more nations participating. So we're very excited to have them on board.
Very excited to have them on board, and I know that they're excited to be going home with a medal here in the 11th CISM World Military Women's Football Championship. Well, that is going to do it from Stout Field here at Fort Bliss, Texas, as China has beaten France by the score of 3-1 and has won the bronze medal in this competition. Remember, we're back tonight. That's 7 o'clock Mountain Time for the gold medal game between the Republic of Korea and Brazil. 7 o'clock Mountain Time here in El Paso, Texas. 9 o'clock on the East Coast, 6 p.m. on the West Coast, and wherever you are in the world, well, you're going to have to do the math to figure out what time we're going to be able to come to you. Live streaming tonight on Facebook. So for my broadcast partner, Steve Denote, and for our entire broadcast crew from Fort Bliss, Texas, until the gold medal match tonight, I'm Van Stokes saying so long, everyone.